Okay, fantastic. So, a very warm good evening to everybody. I hope summer vacation everybody is waiting for going back to school after 2 years. That's the excitement. And thank you so much everyone for joining. The numbers I think people would be joining in. So in that session, the major purpose, a question chess as a game. When you play chess, what are the benefits that you're getting? Okay, there is this very important question that when you play chess, what are the secret skills that you are able to acquire by playing chess?
Power.
That is a very important question that everybody has. So in the session, the primary topic of discussion is how chess is going to help you in academics. നമ്മുടെ സ്കൂളിൽ കാര്യങ്ങൾ പഠിക്കാൻ academically നമുക്ക് better ആവാൻ how is chess going to help you? This is the basic theme of today's session. And to speak at this session, we have somebody who has excelled both in chess and academics at the same time. ഒരേ സമയം ചെസ്സിലും അക്കാഡമിക്സിലും എക്സൽ ചെയ്ത ഒരാളാണ് ഇന്ന് നമ്മുടെ അടുത്ത് സംസാരിക്കാനുള്ളത്. His name is Nitin, as I introduced him before. Nitin did his engineering. Nitin ഇന്ത്യയിലെ തന്നെ ഏറ്റവും best title engineering college. He studied his engineering from one of the best engineering colleges in India, which is IIT Madras. Indian Institute of Technology Madras. And he did his MBA from Indian Institute of Management in Ahmedabad, which is the best business school in India. When he was doing all this, he was a passionate chess player, a regular chess player. He has been playing chess for the last 15 years, 16 years.
13 years, yeah.
16 years. He has been a consistent chess player. So how did he manage chess, and how did chess help him in becoming what he is? About this topic in his chess journey. How did chess help him in his academics? Chess school better perform baki exams better perform and what are some of the other silent benefits that you can acquire from playing chess? So this is the major discussion of today's talk. How can chess help you in academics? And we have the speaker who is none other than Nitin M Pai, who, as I mentioned earlier, is an embodiment of managing chess and academics together, excelling in both. He has won a couple of federated tournaments. He has won many state level tournaments in Kerala, and at the same time excel at academics. So you are going to benefit deeply from this session of, it will motivate you to play chess better, because that will make you better academic performers as well. So the session is divided into two parts. Initially, Nitin will speak about his chess journey. How did he manage chess and academics together? How did he become a very strong player in chess and a very good in academics as well? So first he'll speak about that, and once he is done with his speech, you can ask him questions. You can ask him any question that you have regarding chess, regarding academics. How do you manage both? How do you excel in both? Or any tips that you want to become better in chess as well as in academics. So I am very proud to invite Nitin to give this lecture, and I'm sure this is going to motivate a lot of youngsters to play more chess and become better at chess as well as at academics. So Nitin, you can take over. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Thank you, Abhijit, for the wonderful introduction. It's very nice to see very young faces here. I think this is the first time since I left my school that I'm addressing an audience of this age group. And I think in the last 7 years or so, my interactions have been limited to college students and later to people in the professional working age group. So it's very nice to sort of get back seeing such toddler school-going faces in an address like this. So roughly I'd like to divide the session into broadly 2, but maybe 3 to 4 sub sections. I'll take about 5 minutes in the beginning to talk about my chess journey. After which I'd like to talk about, what are the skills and what are generally the skills and abilities that I've gained through the game of chess, which will help me both in my education as well as my professional life, professional and personal life currently. I'll also try to make the session as interactive as possible. So during my initial phase, I might stop and ask a few questions. I'll also I also may share my screen and put some interesting chess positions to sort of support the points that I'm trying to make. And one of you can obviously volunteer to sort of try to solve those positions and so on. Towards the end, I will be leaving about 15 minutes or so for Q&A. And according to the timeline, I may sort of, condense some of the less important aspects which I have for the end and focus more on the more important aspects which are sort of put for upfront. So let me start talking about my chess journey. I started playing chess competitively in class 8 in 2009 at the age of 13. And I'm sure most of you are already younger than that age category. So you started playing chess at a much younger age, which means there's definitely a lot more you can accomplish in the game that I could during my chess career, right? In 2010, um, the first few months of 2010 is when I won my first ever prize in a chess tournament. And this was a huge sort of motivation for me to sort of continue playing chess more seriously. Very shortly, I defeated a federated player for the first time. And it's also in 2010 somewhere that I sort of met the co-founder and CEO of 8 times 8, Abhijit, and his brother Arijit, and also had an opportunity to play with Arijit in a tournament game where he completely crushed me. However, I think I picked up a very quick pace in the game of chess. By the end of 2010, I was myself a federated chess player. I think by 2012, I was among the top players in my age category in the district. I was able to finish second in the district sub-junior championship, participate in the state championship where I finished 8th. And interestingly, I don't know how many of you know this person called Sunil Lena Narayanan, SL Narayanan, who is one of the top players in the country today, and also part of the India Olympiad team. And in that event, I had the privilege of playing with SL Narayanan and also obtained a draw in the game in the final round. Of course, SL was the champion of the event. In the subsequent years, 2013 and 2014, I had to take a break from chess to prepare for this very competitive exam called IIT JEE for entrance to the top engineering colleges in the country. Post which, chess sort of came back to me, right? Chess had become such an integral part of my life. It was difficult to imagine a life without chess. And suddenly going to college, I had some spare time, unlike 11th and 12th, where there's a lot of pressure from family, society to get into the top institutes in the country, right? However, this was a very challenging phase because after a 2-year break, I was sort of struggling to play at the same level as I was doing before. And that's where I think that's where a lot of people also give up from chess and generally any sport that they play competitively. And I think this is where it depends on the personality of the person on how they want to take such setbacks in life and sort of come back to
I gave up.
right?
I was playing chess, then after some time I gave up and I returned it back.
So then we will definitely have a Q&A session in the end.
Okay.
So if you have some valuable points to add, we'll be very happy to sort of discuss it towards the end.
Thank you, sir.
Cool. So during my college days in IIT, I had the privilege of getting chess back into my life. I was appointed the captain of the IIT Madras chess team. I had ample opportunity to play tournaments, increase my rating. In the process, I won a below 1600 federated tournament. I was also able to play national level tournaments for Kerala, namely the national juniors and the national under 25 championship. I think also during this time in college is where I explored several other roles in chess. Typically a chess player does not stick to being a chess player throughout their career, right? They take up the role of a coach, a mentor, be an organizer, write articles about chess. And I had the privilege of exploring most of these roles at some point of my career. And this all started while I was in IIT. Subsequently, I graduated from BTech, joined an MBA in IIM Ahmedabad. I also had the privilege of playing the Commonwealth Chess Championship somewhere at that point. And then unfortunately, by the time I graduated from MBA, I had some spare time before I started my job to play a few tournaments. And that's when the COVID pandemic sort of happened, right? I think this affected not only me, but several chess players throughout India and the world. Luckily for us, the pandemic is pretty much over and chess activities have pretty much resumed to pre-pandemic levels. However, now as a player, I do not get that much time because I'm a full-time working professional. However, I do try to keep up with the game during weekends. Yeah. Just give me a minute. I need to sort of turn off my notifications. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that despite the various commitments that I have professionally in life today, I do try to keep up with the game during weekends. So I think that's pretty much about my chess journey. In terms of what I'm looking forward to with chess, I would like to someday become the world amateur chess champion, and I would like to increase my rating to the extent possible. Of course, I don't see myself playing chess full time anywhere near in the future, but with whatever limited time that I sort of get, right? So now I think I would like to go on sort of to the next phase of the discussion, right? So how has chess helped me in my education, professional life and personal life? And how has it sort of generally helped several people and based on proven studies? So within this section, I'd like to divide it broadly into three parts, right? The first part I would like to talk about are the core chess skills. Secondly, I look at some of the more peripheral aspects of the game, which are not as such related to the chess game as it is on the board, but some of the things that you do when you play chess professionally and interact with a lot of people, and what the skills sort of get from that. And finally, I'd like to talk about some of the tertiary benefits of playing chess, like the exposure that you get from traveling and things like that. So the first section I'd like to sort of start with are the core chess skills, right? And that's where the first one I'd like to talk about is calculation or decision making. So how many of you like maths?
Me.
And can you just
I like maths.
put up your hand?
I like
Okay. How many of you think that...
I'm a maths teacher, so I love maths.
Okay. So how many of you think that playing chess has helped you work better on your maths or improve your maths?
I love maths anyways. Before I started playing chess, I like maths.
Right. So thank you for your inputs. So I think there's one thing that is a very strong point that I'd like to make. So while chess does improve basic math skills of kids who start playing chess at a very young age, although there have been a lot of debates about that, there's one thing that is definitely proven, and there's definitely something that has been proven and should benefit all of you, and that is the analytical decision making that people sort of learn from chess, right? Now, what exactly do I mean by this? I think I'd like to sort of set up a position on a board and ask maybe a few volunteers to sort of try and solve the position. It's a very basic puzzle. I'm sure most of you would have come across this. So just give me a second. I'll put it up on the board and then present my screen.
Yeah.
Sure.
So he's setting up a position right now. We'll very quickly be redirected to it. Nitin, I have made you the host, so you should be able to share your screen now.
Abhijit, do you have a real-time, you have the facility to put up a chessboard and show some position, because I'm having some technical issues with leeches.
Yeah, you can
I'll tell you the position and we can sort of ask the audience to sort of have
Yes.
their comments.
Yes,
Maybe if you
please.
can open Chessbase or some software and present your screen, it would be great.
Please tell me the position.
Yeah, so I'm White King F1.
White King. So can you just make me the host so that
Okay.
I can share the screen and students can see setting up the position as well?
Yeah, it'll be better to sort of see the screen and then set up the position.
Correct.
Yeah, you're back to being the host.
Great, thanks. Okay, so please.
Yeah, White King F1, maybe Black King G3, sorry. G3, Pawn F3, Black Pawn F3. White pawns A5, B5.
Sir, I playing leeches too.
Black pawns A7, B7, C7. There's a white pawn on C5 as well. So it's white to play. This is white to play and win. We'll not spend more than 2 to 3 minutes on this position. I think this is not a chess class. It's more about what chess teaches you to do, right? But any volunteers who would like to solve this position for us or have seen this position before? Oh. So Arav Nair has his hands raised. Ishan also has his hands raised. So Ishan, why don't you unmute yourself and take a go at the position?
So first you would do C you do C6.
Okay, then black can play B6. And this would be losing for white.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Sir. B6. Sir.
B6.
I can maybe let's have Nihan Mohammed Niaz speak. Nihan, please unmute yourself.
B6.
Okay, B6. Say A takes B6. What will you do, Nihan, now?
Yeah, I did not
We will
on
take
B6.
back.
Sorry?
Sir, I did not on B6.
Who said B6? Can you please, everyone please lower your hands. Only the person who said B6, please raise your hand.
I did say B6.
Sorry.
I also said.
Yeah, I think we said it at the same time.
Niranjan, can you please unmute? Is it Niranjan? Is it Nimin who's speaking?
Sir, capturing. Sir, actually.
Abhijit, are you able to identify who was the person who said B6?
Actually, sir, B6, then
Okay.
the
A takes B6.
the C7.
Then they will capture.
Then
Then we will capture again with a pawn.
Amazing.
The
Yeah.
pawn C6.
So then we
C6. Yeah. Who said C6?
Me, Abhay.
Okay, very good. So C6 is the answer.
and then after you say and after you capture, you bring it to A6.
A6. Yes. Exactly. So the pawn on A pawn sort of promote, right? So if you look at this position and the way the solution sort of came up, right? At each point we had to make a decision, and we had to sort of evaluate our decision based on all of the opponent's possible responses and sort of come up with the best sort of continuation, right? So in life also, we come across so many real life situations where there are multiple factors at play. In chess, it's largely it's a two-dimensional aspect, right? You make a move and then the opponent has an opportunity to make a move. And it's just one factor. Like if I make this move, the only factor that you want to make your decisions are on what are my opponent's opportunities, right? Or options. But in real life, you will face a lot more complicated decisions that you have to make. Anybody in class 9th or class 10th?
I'm not.
Can everybody please lower your hands first so that people who are relevant can only raise their hands to my questions? So anybody in class 9th or 10th, please unmute yourself and you can say yes.
Yeah,
Is this Jishnu who's speaking?
yeah.
Yeah, Jishnu. So you are in class 10th, is it?
No, 9th.
9th. Jishnu, have you thought about what stream you want to pursue after 10th? Is it
Yeah.
commerce, science?
Thinking about-
Sorry?
I was thinking about PCBC.
PCBC, that's basically science with biology?
Yeah.
Got it. So Jishnu, can you just help us understand how you went about making that decision?
I personally liked science, and
Yeah.
then I thought of doing a career with science.
Got it. Got it. So, you know, indirectly also analyzed various factors, right? Like if I take this stream, what are my options, right? I can either go for engineering or I can go for medicine. What is the
Yeah.
scope for medicine and engineering today? And how is the scope going to be 7 years down the line when I finish my college? What is the demand for doctors in the market going to be, or engineers and so on, right?
Yeah.
So real life decision making is very similar but more complicated than chess. And I
Yeah.
think it's the first lesson that I want everyone to take away from you. The simple problems that you solve on the chessboard, either while training or in a real tournament event, will take you very far in terms of making decisions in real life. And I just like to add here, most of you are not at that age where you're thinking about giving job interviews or interviews for important colleges, right? But let me just add it here, at least for the parents who are listening on the call, that this sort of ability to make decision making analytically is a very strong asset or a strong skill that corporates look today in their candidates. And this has personally helped me clear several interviews and get admits to top management schools in the country, right? So let's go on to the next sort of factor. We're running slightly behind the schedule. The next factor that I would like to talk about is memory, right? So as a chess player, especially in your early stage of your career, you are expected to learn a lot of chess openings, right? And also a lot of traps. While you try to set up a lot of opening traps for your opponent, it's also important to know these traps such that you do not fall into these traps, right? So Abhijit, can you just refresh the position? Let's go to a starting chess setup. Let's go to new board, basically. Fresh board, yeah. I'd like to sort of talk about an instance at a very early stage in my chess journey, right? I was playing a tournament, I think 2 to 3 months after I had started playing chess competitively. And I had seen this YouTube video of a chess trap. And I think a very important skill that you develop and also must inherently have in chess is to sort of recollect things that you learned before or seen from other games, right? So the game goes like this: e4, e5, knight f3, and here my opponent defended with f6. Now this lecture is not about why f6 is a bad move. It's just about how I was able to take advantage of this position directly based on my memory, right? I did not have to even think of the variations. But I had seen a YouTube video where the sort of instructor had gone through this position. So anybody would like to volunteer and sort of tell me what White's best move here is?
Sir, can I say? My name is Ryan.
Sorry? Who is speaking?
Ryan.
Ryan, right?
Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah, Ryan. Please go ahead. Tell me. Please unmute yourself and speak. Yeah.
I think it is knight takes e5.
Sure. And if black does not take back, white has won a free pawn, right? So black will obviously take the pawn back. So knight, right? What does white do here?
Queen to h5.
Queen h5 check. So if black plays g6, it's very straightforward, right? White can sort of capture the e5 pawn with a double check and win the rook. Right? So let's suppose the black player is materialistic and tries to play king e7 and is not willing to give up his rook. What does white play now?
Queen takes e5.
Yeah, queen takes e5. King f7.
Bishop c4.
Okay, bishop c4. Now black plays d5. Now white can take, bishop takes d5, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And now black.
The only move for black is okay. Then the queen to f5.
Queen f5 is not possible because black can simply take bishop f5. So what does white do here?
Sir, do you open up the black bishop on you move the d pawn?
Can you just move back instead of when black played sort of d5?
g3.
Abhijit, instead of, let's put d5. Is there a better move here than bishop takes d5?
Yes. Yes.
It's a queen takes.
The queen is
The
going to
pawn.
attack the
The
bishop.
queen. So the queen.
Yeah, queen takes d5. Then
So the pawn.
No, it's bishop takes d5. And then black plays king g6. And how can white continue?
So queen g3. Yes.
Yeah, I think queen g3 is a strong move. Yeah, white can play queen g3.
If he moves to if he moves to h6, then we can open up
Okay, d4. Yeah, white plays d4. And now black can defend with g5.
Yeah.
What does white play here?
So that white captures it's a fork. So you get to capture the queen.
Sir, queen. Sir, queen g5. Sir, queen g5.
No, queen g5 is a mistake because black can take
g5. Bishop to g5.
Sir, bishop g5.
Queen H3.
Okay, so the important move to
Sir.
sort of remember here after G5 is H4, right? So the idea is that H4 sort of brings the rook on H1 also into the attack.
Sir, Queen H3. Queen H3.
No, okay. So this is not a chess class. It's the idea is not about finding the best moves or anything like that. But the point I'm trying to make is that I had sort of memorized the entire line, and it is not that I had ever come across this question before. Right? Everyone, please mute themselves because we are now back to the. We're not discussing the position anymore. So, yeah. So, Abhijit, I think you can just reset the board. I think we've sort of discussed the position, but I think the main point that we're trying to make here is in chess, you often study something today, and it may be an opening trap or a new opening, but it's not something that might help you in the immediate future or your very next tournament, right? That's something that may come to you 3 months, 4 months down the line. However, this sort of memory of having studied this trap or opening sort of gets triggered, and you're able to apply that and sort of win games at a later stage, right? So I think this is a very important ability to generally have in life, and especially in your student age, right? The ability to have strong recollection of what you've studied. You would be doing a lot of revision before your final exams, right? Especially when the syllabus is very long. What I've seen is chess players generally tend to require lesser amount of revision. And based on my personal experience, while I've interacted with chess players in several top universities in the country through my networks, they have this ability to sort of have to put in a lot less effort than other students, because the number of iterations or the number of times they have to read something to be able to remember it is much lower. They're able to basically recollect things very quickly, due to which they do not require a lot of revision, and the amount of effort they need to put into score the same amount of marks compared to a normal student is much lower, right? So yeah, let's go to the third sort of factor, which we sort of get from chess, right? And this is pattern recognition. Okay. How many of you know how to checkmate with a bishop and a knight?
No.
Okay, let's make it simpler. Rook checkmate. How many of you know how to checkmate with the rook?
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Yes,
I know.
Sir, I know.
Sir, I know.
Okay, can we have one volunteer, please?
Sir, I know.
Sir,
Sir, I know.
Sir, itne precaution knows.
sir,
I know.
sir, Nehan.
Sir, Joel.
Abhijit, can you please choose a volunteer based on your experience who can solve the rook checkmate very well?
Sir, I know it very well.
Sir, I also know it.
Advait.
Me too.
Sir, Nehan.
Abhijit, are you
Sir,
on
I
there?
know.
Yeah.
Sir,
I think Joel, if you want,
I know.
you can try.
Sorry, who?
Joel.
Joel, can you please turn on your video and also unmute yourself? And Abhijit, let's have a very simple position, right? Let's simplify the board and have a king and a white rook against a black rook. And let's just do few iterations. We don't have to go for all the way to checkmate, but just want to see the overall approach. So Joel, are you there on the line?
Yes, sir.
I think there is some technical issue with the Lee chess board. So I think in the meanwhile it loads, I think we can continue the discussion.
Yeah. So until Abhijit sort of loads the board, the point I'm trying to make is, can everyone please mute themselves? Hello, can everyone please mute themselves? Yeah. So I think in chess, right, you pick up a lot of patterns when you play the game. The most interesting pattern, of course, is the bishop and knight mate, but that's a little bit advanced. So considering the strength of this class, I'd like to sort of stick to the rook checkmate. And this ability to sort of recognize new patterns and sometimes even come up with your own patterns, right? There are several masters in chess who have never really prepared a bishop and knight mate, considering that the chance of it occurring on the board is very less, but have unfortunately encountered the position in real games and have actually figured out how to checkmate the bishop and knight in the board, right? So there are two levels. One is basically training yourself for patterns such as these, such as a rook checkmate. And second is, chess is such a vast game and you'll always come up with new positions, right? New kind of situations where you sometimes come up with your own pattern. Now, this is very important in today's world, right? Like there are several upcoming fields, such as data science, machine learning, computer science, finance, and economics, where most of you would be trying to make your careers 5 to 10, maybe 10 years down the line.
Sir, actually, we should move the king.
No. So we're not discussing the position right now. No? I'm just talking about the lesson from pattern recognition. So there are a wide range of areas which are very upcoming and offer very lucrative careers. All these areas, for example, involve the candidates to be able to identify certain patterns in data. Sometimes it can be past, patterns which they've already come across before. And in some cases, it would be completely new patterns, right? So now I'd like to sort of go to the more secondary aspects of chess, right? Which are not directly from the game of chess, but something that you develop over time, right? From playing chess competitively. So the first thing is leadership and teamwork, right? Having been the chess captain of IIT Madras at the age of 19 and having the opportunity of organizing several chess events, at a very young stage, I was able to manage a team, manage a lot of money, organizing these events. And in my professional life, what I've seen is that whenever I've been put in having the responsibility of managing a small team, it has always been my experience of having led a chess team before that sort of helps me manage teams today in corporate. If someone has not played chess or any other sport ever and have mostly been strictly into academics, right? When they come into corporate and they're given a managerial role, they actually struggle initially. So I think this is something definitely that playing chess, especially for your college team or school team, will sort of teach you that how do you manage interpersonal relationships, right, in life. A second aspect of chess that I've sort of picked up outside the chessboard is my strong network of friends, right, which I've made through the game. And also the ability to sort of network. Some of the best friends that I've made through chess are the founders of the IIM State Chess Academy, Abhijit, Arijit, Chandra, Raju, Adesh, and so on. But I've also had the privilege of networking with a lot of famous chess personalities, such as Vishwanathan Anand himself. I had the opportunity to sort of meet him 2 to 3 times, and also connect with him on social media platform like Facebook. So quickly, I'll just, it's just a trivia question that I'd like to ask. I'd like to sort of share a picture and ask you to identify 2 famous personalities from the photo.
So I am making you the host, Nitin.
Sure.
Can you explain in person more clear?
Sorry?
Can you explain in person clear?
No, this is not a chess class. We're not trying to teach you chess here. You have excellent chess coaches at 8x8 who will help you understand chess, right? The purpose of this session is to just try to help you understand why you should play chess, right? So, Abhijit, I have the photo here on my screen, so I'm sort of going to present my screen now.
Yeah, so I have made you the host. You can just start sharing your screen.
Yeah. So I'm sharing my screen. Can everyone identify 3 famous chess personalities in this photo? By the way, that's me in the blue t-shirt, the tallest guy in the photo. This is my team. This is my chess team from IIT Madras. There are 3 famous chess personalities in the photo. Anyone wants to have a go?
The one on the leftmost is Sagar Shah.
That's Sagar Shah, that's correct. And then you should also identify the lady right beside him.
His wife.
Okay.
And the one is and one beside that is you.
Oh no, I'm not a famous chess personality. There's
So
one
can
more.
I
There's
say-
one more famous chess personality in the photo.
Sir, I don't not know his name, but his nickname is named as Beast.
Beast. Okay, the guy in the white t-shirt,
At
2
the back,
places to
yeah.
my right, right? Adiban. Adiban is a former
Yeah.
national champion and also part of the India A Olympiad team, right? So, long story short, chess has basically helped me make a lot of friends within the chess community. Friends for life, I would say. It has also helped me network with a lot of famous chess players, organizers, commentators, and so on, right? I mean, today, and also like people like RB Ramesh, right, who are the coach of the Indian chess team. And how it sort of helps me is that when my company sort of wants to have a chess event and have one of these guys as a chief guests, I'm sort of able to leverage my connection so that they not only agree to sort of grace the event with their presence, but also they did not charge a fee in many cases, right? So it's always nice to have these kind of networks. You don't know how it will help you in your personal and professional lives, right? I think
Sir, I cannot hear you.
am I audible for everyone else? Abhijit?
Yes, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I'll just
We
speak a bit
can
louder.
hear.
Yeah, I'll speak a bit louder. Yeah. I think this one more point from this section, which is very important, right, is the ability to do self-study, right? How many of you go for tuitions for your school subjects? Anybody goes for tuitions? Okay. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is that to succeed in chess, right? To succeed in chess, at a very early stage, it's important that you start picking up chess books yourself and put positions on the board, right? Because chess coaching inherently is an expensive thing, and you cannot not everybody can afford the luxury of having a chess coach with you all the time, right? And to become a serious chess player, at least in the initial stages during your school time, you need to put in about 2 to 3 hours of effort every day on chess. Maybe even if you're a casual player, to achieve a certain strength in chess, you need to put in maybe 1 hour of effort every day. And more often than not, you don't have a chess coach with you, but you have a lot of books and you have a chess board, right? This ability to sort of study, train yourself, and also sit with a position or for a long duration of time. This sort of helped me very strongly when I prepared for competitive exams such as IIT, JEE, and CAT. Right, I had to sort of manage my time between several subjects. I had to analyze the outcomes of my tests myself and identify my strengths and weaknesses. And I think this strongly, for me at least, came from my chess career, right? And I think one last point I'd like to add here is if you're a serious chess player at a very young age, you sort of become very independent. You start traveling yourself. For example, I started traveling within the state for tournaments at the age of 14. And I think this is more lesson for the parents than the kids. I think don't think that chess is a very single dimensional game, right? Chess has several dimensions, and the more one dwells into chess.
Excuse me.
Yeah, can you please mute yourself? I'll be very shortly moving to the Q&A session.
Okay.
I think more for the parents. Chess is not a very, it's by no means a single dimensional game. Chess has several dimensions associated with it. And the more one gets deep into the game of chess, you clearly see that one's worldview generally expands a lot, right? For example, once one starts understanding chess and learning about chess players, your understanding of social sciences in general, geography, politics, history, it all increases, right? Because chess is a game that has been played competitively since the 19th century, and every world championship match has revolved around players from different countries. Largely, one side has always been, at least one side has been from Russia or the Soviet Union. But when you read chess literature, you sort of understand a lot about history, geography, because mostly chess has revolved around Europe. Politics, about the Cold War and how the match between Bobby Fischer and Spassky sort of happened during the peak Cold War, how the Soviet Union and later Russia sort of had this communist ideology, which sort of wanted to prove to the world that communism is smarter. Communism results to smarter people, right? And therefore they wanted to prove to the world that they can play chess better. So apart from social science, also when you take up chess seriously, it's also important. It's also very important to understand psychology. So I think having been a core science and engineering graduate myself, I've developed an interest for all these subjects such as social science and psychology due to how deeply I've been into chess, right? And of course, for non-science folks, people who are already into social science or in subjects like psychology, they also get to touch upon some aspects of technology and engineering, right? For example, when you work with a computer engine, for example, when you play chess with Freights or any such engine, there's a lot of computer science and math and machine learning and all that goes behind it. And any child would obviously, over a period of time, develop a curiosity about how those work, right? For example, recently there was this AI-based machine that was developed. What's it called, Abhijit? AlphaGo.
AlphaZero.
AlphaZero, yeah. So AlphaZero sort of took the chess world by storm in 2017 when it beat the strongest chess engines, right? So this created a whole inquisitiveness in the chess world, right? What is machine learning? What is neural networks and things like that? And mind you, when I interviewed with IIM Indore in the following year in 2018, more than my ability to play chess and my strength as a chess player, the panel was more interested in how I took an interest in these subjects, right? Through chess, how I've sort of understood some of these tertiary subjects. And this is a very important skill that you sort of pick up from the game. So before we sort of move into the Q&A, I'm just looking at if there are some very important points that I've missed. So just give me maybe another minute. Yeah. So I'll just summarize. I think there are largely 3 points that I've sort of failed to make. And these are also largely for the parents than the children. So I think firstly, one is the recognition that you get from playing chess, right? Everyone in your school, college, currently in my professional organization also, people know me as a chess player, right? And this is definitely a good way to be popular wherever you are. People generally tend to know you. And especially in corporate, people knowing you is a very good thing, because especially when the promotion cycle and all is discussed, the leadership is generally more interested in promoting someone who has a good visibility and is well known in the firm, rather than someone who may be very excellent at his work or his or her work, but is not really well known in the firm, right? The second last point is about multitasking. As a chess player, early on in your life, you sort of juggle between studies and chess. In life, there'll be so many occasions where you have to sort of, multitask, manage your time between family and career, and things like that. So chess definitely trains you for that. And within chess, people also take up multiple roles, right? Taking up the role of a coach. So Abhijit is currently a chess coach and a chess player. Everyone in 8x8 is a chess coach and a chess player. There are also doing a lot of organizing. So even if you're a professional chess personality, you sort of do a lot of multitasking.
Just a minute, sorry to interrupt. There is somebody waiting in the waiting room. So either please make me the host, or you can please let me.
Yeah, I'm making you a host. Yeah. So this ability to multitask, I think it's a very strong characteristic of chess players, right? Be it in life or their career and so on. And lastly, I think the most important point, and this is again for the parents and less for the children, that chess makes you very humble. Not only chess, any sport, right? Makes you very humble as a person, especially when you have to deal with losses. I'm 26 years old, and still sometimes there are occasions where I lose to people less than half my age in the game of chess in tournaments. And while it's normal at a very early stage in your chess career, especially if you started playing chess in your 20s and all, it can hurt your ego a bit. But having been in the system for so long, I just take this as another loss, right? So I think this sort of humbleness that chess or any sport brings to you, that way chess is a great leveler. And I think it happens very less in other sport where people generally lose to people who are much younger than them. In chess, you can have a 10-year-old beating a 90-plus-year-old, or even a 5-year-old beating someone who's 70, 80 plus, right? So I think that way this sort of occurrence sort of is very unique to chess, and that way it's a great leveler and humbler. That makes you something that makes you very humble. And there have been several interviews where the panel has sort of appreciated this sort of quality that comes from playing chess. So I think that's it from my side. I think I've largely covered all the points that I wanted to discuss for today. Very happy to open up to Q&A right now.
All right. So thank you so much, Nitin. Thank you so much for the very interesting discussion and putting forth your points on how chess can make you better at academics and life in general. I think almost all the points are very valuable, and I'm sure all the youngsters who started playing chess very recently, in like so many of them started like 2 months, 4 months, 6 months ago, and some of them have been studying for 1 or 2 years. So I'm sure this is going to motivate them to put more efforts into chess and become better chess players. With that being said, now we move on to one of the most interesting parts of today's session, which is the question answer session. So whoever is having questions can post it on the chat, and we'll be taking the questions one by one. Yeah. First, we have a very interesting question coming from Jishnu. He says, how can we juggle to taking a competitive exam and getting better at chess at the same time? I think Nitin can give a very nice answer to that for sure. So how can you, take a competitive exam and get better at chess at the same time?
Right. I think the answer to this is slightly depending on the situation, right? First of all, it depends on what stage are you in your career at chess, how important the particular competitive exam is for you at that point of time. I mean, is it a big life changer or not? If it is a big life changer, I would definitely, recommend taking a small break from chess because as you can see from my own journey, it's not very difficult to sort of come back into the game of chess, right? But I think one very interesting, one very useful hack that you can do is that chess is not very difficult to access anymore, right? You have platforms like leadchess.com where you can easily spend half an hour or 1 hour a day playing games. I mean, games of your choice, be it Blitz or Rapid. So I think when you're preparing for a competitive exam, at least even if you're not able to find the time to play tournaments, just to stay in touch with the game of chess, right? What you can do is you can create.
I already play every day game.
Yeah. You can clearly segregate the time that you're preparing for a competitive exam versus, playing chess during the breaks. For example, I think most competitive exams in the country, be it CAT or IIT, do not require more than 6 hours of sincere preparation in a day, right? But definitely, suppose there are 24 hours in a day, maybe you want to do 8 hours of college or school, and then you have 8 hours of sleep, so that's 16 hours, and then maybe 6 hours of preparation. That still leaves you with 1 or 2 hours. And I think even within the 6 hours of preparation that I mentioned, you can at every hour you can take a small break and sort of play a blitz game or a rapid game, or sort of after a 2-hour study session, you can play a 15-minute rapid game. So I think that's largely how you sort of divide and manage your time between preparing for a competitive exam and staying in touch or improving at chess. Can we have the next question? I also encourage parents to ask any questions, because I think while the kids may be very interested in chess, often the decision makers are parents, right? To to what extent that they want their kids to be serious about the game. Are there any more questions?
So if any of you is having any question, you can post it on the chat.
Yeah.
Advait is asking, what is your current rating in rapid chess?
Okay, so my FIDE rating in classical is about 1660. And my rapid FIDE rating is about 1450. Largely the difference, I think, is because I have always focused more on classical chess. Never been a big fan of rapid chess, but however, given my current schedule, work on Monday to Friday, I do not find a lot of time to play classical chess, and therefore I play rapid chess just for enjoyment, but do not really look at the output or the results or the rating per se. If you're asking me about my leeches rating, yeah, it's about 2000 plus in rapid and about 1800 on chess.com.
All right. So do we have any more questions? I think, Jonathan, you're having a question. Huh? You can unmute yourself and ask.
Sir, I don't have any questions because I already know about everything about chess.
I have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure.
So what is the deadliest trap for a player that is rated 1200?
Yeah, me too. What's the deadliest trap for a... Usually I make traps the queen. Checkmate with the queens. Gambit.
Okay, so I think this the question itself is a bit off topic for today, because it's the session here is not about how you can improve as a player, chess player itself, because you have the coaches from 8x8 to help you become a better chess player. So they'll definitely help you with the chess traps. But personally, there are a few traps which I like in the Rye Lopez and the Sicilian Dragon opening.
So we have another question. At what age did you start playing chess?
Yeah, so I started playing chess competitively at the age of 13. And I see most
Sir,
folks
I played the chess about the age of UKG.
That's very nice. That's very nice. So I think definitely that.
And now I'm second standard.
That's very good, right? So you have a huge potential to become a potential grandmaster and a world champion.
I started when I was 7 years old in 2020.
Sorry?
I started when I was 7 years old.
7 years old. That's good. That's good. So you all have the potential to become world champions.
I'm going to become a 9 years old in 2 to 3 months.
God, yeah.
So
the next question.
That is very rightly put, Nitin. I think chess is one such game where, the earlier you start, it's the better, right? So the earlier you start, let's say 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, the better the chances are that you can become a better player, right?
Yeah.
So we have another question, that is, can you play chess and learn at the same time?
Definitely. So I think a lot of things that I talked about, right? Chess itself improves your ability to learn better. So why do people go to the gym? Tell me.
They go to the gym
to work out.
To work out, right? And when you play a sport like cricket, why do people practice in the nets? How many of you follow IPL?
I
Win.
Why does
No.
Virat Kohli sit in the nets and practice every day before a match?
Sadly, he got knocked out.
Okay, let's not take Virat Kohli's example. But why do batsmen in general practice in the nets before important matches?
Because they want to train and they want to win, so they become more.
Yeah, they want to give their best and they want to improve, right? Similarly, chess is like the gymnasium of the mind, right? Playing chess by no means impacts your ability to learn or the time that you can spend on learning. In fact, it improves and makes you very efficient in grasping new concepts as well as the ability to retain, which I sort of mentioned during my session, right? So chess and learning go very much in hand. So suppose you have 8 hours a day to study. Instead, if you suppose to devote 2 hours a day to chess, maybe at least in the earlier classes, right? May not a very good example in 11th and 12th, but at least maybe in upper primary and lower primary sections. The more time you devote to chess, you'll see that your ability to learn also improves, and you can something that you can learn in 8 hours can be easily picked up in 3 to 4 hours.
Okay, fantastic. So, Nitin, what is the final message or final advice that you have to give to these youngsters who have just started playing chess, who have started learning chess? So, what is the final word of advice that you have for them?
Got it. So I think, firstly, I think since you've taken up chess, take it seriously a bit, right? Try to participate in tournaments and enjoy the game. And don't worry as much about result. Results take time, right? I mean, if you work hard and are entitled to the results come. Don't be disappointed with losses. Keep putting effort and you will become a better player. And while you enjoy the game on the chessboard, make new friends, right? They may be your enemies on the chessboard, but off the board, they'll be the best friends that you make in your life. So I think largely these are the messages that I want to take. I want you to take away from today.
All right, that's fantastic. That's such a lovely message that, you know, what you have to focus on is on your improvement. Winning and losing is part of the game.
Yep.
Don't focus so much on the result. Don't think, okay, I'm winning this game, I'm losing this game. That is part of the process. But what's more important is that you keep playing, you keep learning, and you keep improving, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much, Nitin. Thank you so much for taking out time and coming to inspire these youngsters. And I'm sure the session would have helped them so much to understand so many different aspects of chess, and
Yep.
everybody would start learning and playing more chess and become better players themselves. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you. Thanks
And
for the invite. It was lovely interacting with youngsters today.
all right. And thank you so much to all the participants as well. I hope you will take the advices and guidance that he has provided and start playing and learning more chess and become better chess players as well as better in your academics as well.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely
you,
day.
sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.